Mrs. Kenny and her daughter Diane run a horse boarding facility. It's an equine, it's a whole complex. In addition to that, Diane gives riding lessons. There's income generated from that. And with the Reverend Roth, he lives right on the corner, well, one lot down from Simmons and Little, the intersection, the one closer to 29. And he leases his 10-acre field to, I believe it's the graders for their horse activity. So income is generated by leasing the agricultural land. So they're both equine operations, and that is acceptable.
I think, I mean, I talked to the county about that, and where they do the line, where they said that if it's just horseback riding, that's considered recreational.
It's not just horseback riding.
Do they do any breeding?
I'm not sure, you'd have to ask the graders about that, but Mrs. Kenny actually has to, they generate enough income that, you know, they file tax returns for it. It is over $2,000.
No, I understand that, but what I understood from the people I talked to in the county was income generated from horseback riding is considered recreational, not agricultural. So it would have to be
The boarding of horses, the housing of horses. In other words, they do not own the horses that they have located in their barn. They charge other people, so it's not being generated from horseback riding. It's the actual housing of the horses.
Okay.
And she had also applied back in June of last year, and then unfortunately had some medical issues, and is on the mend now.
Okay.
Bill? I have a point. Phil Smith, Gerloff Road. I think Linda and Marla, the point that you were raising, Marla, was that the county's issue is if they take the next step to agricultural preservation, they have an inability to do that with a horseback riding operation. But I think to become part of the agricultural security area that we're talking about here, I think Linda's point holds as true.
Okay, thanks. That's very helpful clarification. Thank you.
Dan Orff, Kratz Road. Are these two individuals you mentioned in addition to the previous ones that were identified for the ASA committee?
Yes.
Okay.
We needed two more.
Okay, thank you.
Lynn Jansen, Simmons Road. I believe I need to direct my questions to Mr. Keenan regarding the ASA. We had, is it correct that it has not yet been filed with the Recorder of Deeds, legally recorded?
It has not been recorded. The question of filing is a different question. It was sent down for filing or recording, and it was sent back as some of the owners had not quite completed the application.
Okay, I think I can clear it up because you actually, your colleague Damian Brewster sent one, a letter to our family on March 13th
Jansen,
of this year. Yes, indicating that we were missing a parcel.
That's what we were told.
And well, in February, Damien had reached out to me and I had provided all the information to him. See, we have already gone through, been in the ASA since 2008 and have gone through the conservation easement program. Our farm is permanently preserved. We had to do that through Upper Frederick Township because Lower Frederick did not have an ASA formed at the time. And that is one of the requisites to go to the next level, to the permanent farmland preservation. When the Upper Frederick solicitor submitted our original ASA application in 2008, he referenced, when you write, I believe what the problem is how Damien wrote the description. that was submitted to the recorder of deeds. He
Piece of
referenced
paper.
it, correct, but that was this, so this is not what the recorder of deeds gets. He has to write a legal description, here's one, since it wasn't the whole parcel, here's the one that was provided by the Upper Frederick solicitor back in 2008. It's our ASA parcel is always still contained in the Upper Frederick ASA. And what you have to do when you write a description, you must put the landowner, the block, parcel number, the address, and the deed book. I had explained to Damien, the deed book that he put was 3341. It's the deed from 1964, and it only contains the original parcel. Additional parcels were added. In 1980, in deed book 4575, all the parcels were combined. 4 parcels were combined. Here, no, you can look right here. This is
That doesn't help me.
how it was filed. Okay, well, this might just help you. So the letter was
It's the
sent
rejection letter from the recorder of deeds.
because Damien referenced a deed book with it only contained
We
one
asked-
parcel.
Yes, and so this, all we need, and
Well,
it's
no,
maybe
I
very
have it.
simple.
I actually have it completed,
That's it.
but and I plan to hand it to you. But had we followed your instructions, you are actually missing another parcel. You only asked us to add the 9.8 parcel. So and in 1980, all four parcels, all 4 parcel numbers were consolidated under the main parcel number, totaling 47.76 acres. What I have done is, and you can see, I mean, it has been recorded, I mean, it was combined, and it was combined in a 1980 deed book 4575. I don't have the page right here, but we've gone down to the county, and I also pulled the conservation deed that's with the County of Montgomery and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So it was imperative that when you were gonna break that combined parcel up, or if the recorder of deeds wanted to break the combined parcel up, it had to match the legal property description of the conservation easement deed. So,
I'm
anyway,
not sure that those legally have to match, but it would,
Well,
maybe make things
anyway.
easier.
here you go. I don't know if you need, originally you need
The
3
Order
originals.
of deeds only sent it back for that one parcel number. I don't
And
know
then-
why
well,
they did.
Mr.
I think
Keenan-
you were right.
Mr. Keene, what would end up happening? You would have refiled the
Sure, I
ASA,
don't wanna have
and
that
they
happen
would have
again.
kicked it back,
Again.
delaying it another month. So,
But if the
here
way,
are the
I'll
3
double.
original copies,
Okay.
and they, in other words, encompass
Sure.
all the deed parcels, and this actually
And there's no
came-
way for them to ask for more, I
No,
understand.
they can't, because
These
the
are all the
records came from their office, you know, so if that is to the exact, and actually,
Dealing with the bureaucracy is difficult.
I know it
But I'm letting
is.
you know that they send us a rejection letter and they
Right.
put
And why?
one reason that they wanted that parcel number on there. So
Because
we
only-
just had to ask you to slide it, just put it
Well,
on
all
there.
4, because just to put that parcel only pertains to.
I'm sure that you are more right than they are.
But it could have been very easy if the consolidated deed from 1980, if this deed book was referenced in the description, the legal description that was submitted by your office, that probably would have alleviated all these problems. So and you know what, if you just pull up that parcel number, this one there, it will probably reference back, perhaps, but you have to go like one step further and then go up to the deed. So in other words, that was the correct parcel number as of 1964, But then in 1980, when all 4 parcels were consolidated under that deed number, this parcel number, then that was recorded in deed book 4575. And that encompassed all 4 all individual parcels. They were all bundled into one. And it's, here it is. And here, and this was from the recorder of the, I mean, this isn't the official
I remember when
document.
it looked like that.
Yeah, it isn't the, it was so much more information. So this wasn't the official document, but it's saying that this parcel and this parcel is 503. Your office only asked us to add 008. And that parcel, this particular parcel number only has, the thing is, I believe they may be combined under one deed book.
And I would have to read myself, the deed of consolidation.
Right,
To-
so,
to
and
know
it was under Act 319. So, but these are the official, the ones that I handed there.
And
Right.
sometimes, just also the mapping and the assessment combines parcels,
Right.
even without a deed of consolidation. But I'd have to read the deed of
But
consolidation.
I'm just saying, it was just very confusing why in 2008 and 2009, it was no problem. And, I mean, it wasn't even just forming the ASA. We went through the state and the county, and their solicitors looked at it, the title company didn't have a problem with it. But, like I say, the 4 parcels that are listed on there, the Record of Deeds should have no problem. But I just had to be sure that, like I say, and they're all original signatures. So,
Oh, yeah.
that should, so
And
one copy
3 of
goes,
them, right.
one copy goes to the township, one copy goes to the Recorder of Deeds, and the other copy is filed with the Montgomery County Planning Commission.
I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
if you need the deed numbers, I have, the deed book numbers to even expedite, we can pull them right off of here. The deed book and page numbers, if you need those for your description.
Okay.
So hopefully, now, it was my understanding, I don't think our parcel was the only one.
It was
that-
not.
That had this issue. What's the status? Have the other individuals been able to, either add a parcel or
We've
deed
already
it?
gotten one back, so that was not a problem. I believe now we're waiting for one. We're waiting for the final one.
Okay,
That would be the situation at the
At the
moment.
present moment.
Right at the moment.
okay, and have you given?
So hopefully we can pass it next week, and it'll be sent down for recording, immediately,
Yeah,
again.
yeah, okay,
So
that's
that
good.
it's current,
And, but what seemed odd was, and I'm not saying it's
So not
your
you.
office, it seems like it could be the Recorder of Deeds. This was passed, you voted to approve the ASA on September 5th at the or at the general meeting following the public hearing.
Right.
There's 180 days from when the proposal is received until it needs to be voted and filed. If it was filed 10 days after you voted, so that would have been September 15th, why hasn't it taken the Recorder of Deeds till March? Or actually, Damien reached out to me in February. Why was there almost a 6-month lapse in that all of a sudden there's more issues with the ASA? I don't know, it just seems like it should have been addressed. I mean, if it was filed in September, why has it taken them till March to find issues with it? Okay, I'm not trying to put you on the
I
spot.
can't answer that.
Okay, you know.
That wasn't our office. That wasn't. I don't know why it took them so long to, but it was a pretty complicated mapping issue that they hit us with in relation to, so it was under some sort of strict scrutiny down there.
Okay,
That
well,
things aren't normally, they were very careful. And maybe there was a problem on some other agricultural security,
Okay.
and that
And that,
resulted in
putting
our
everything
elevated
under
review.
the microscope.
And there's a different recorder of deeds than,
Exactly.
than
I thought
when-
that,
than
it used to
when,
be Nancy Becker, and it's a new person
all
now,
of your previous agreements had been filed.
with the other.
I'm just saying,
But that's what
it's a
I was
different
thinking, I
person.
was thinking perhaps
So
maybe
it-
with the new recorder of deeds, they have a slightly stricter policy or protocol
and,
than a decade ago.
and a lot of what we do is property law, and we have a very active relationship with them, very.
Well,
So
hopefully-
we work with them a lot at the recorder's office.
So, but that should not, as I say, I pulled it, actually, I pulled the acreage right off the deed, you know, the deed book, and then I have all the deeds.
And I would love all that, I mean, you know, because it could only be helpful.
With copies of, I could
Yeah.
scan it.
That would be
And
wonderful.
send it,
I'll give you my card.
okay, thank you very much.
And I apologize for taking up everyone's time.
Oh, no, not a problem, I would just like to get it right, because I kind of
Yes.
spearheaded this project, and it just seems like it was moving along, everything was going great, and then it's just stalled for almost 8 months now. And,
Oh, well, I mean, we're just, as far as I know, like I said, the rejection came, the letters went out in March, and now we're day to day trying to figure out the status so that it can go back. I mean, as soon
well,
as
like I'm
we
saying,
can get that.
hopefully, they won't find any additional issues.
No, and that's what I wanted to, not in any kind of arguing way, but they send us that rejection letter.
Right.
And as long as we meet exactly what they said in
They
it,
should not have
it goes
any
through.
issues,
it
okay.
slides right through, because they can't essentially come up with anything else.
Yes,
They're not,
well,
sort of like they're not allowed.
they can't. I mean,
Right.
this is from their office and provided by their office, so.
Sure.
They're, you know, unless they're giving wrong information out. I mean, that's to the 1,000th of
But
an
these
acre.
issues came out of mapping, so not really out of the recorders.
Oh,
either.
okay, so that makes sense, when they would
All
actually,
of these issues, so all three that got kicked back were out of mapping.
mapping, not the actual
Not a
filing.
problem with the deed
So
or,
it kinda sounds like maybe it was the recorder of deeds that was dropping the ball on this.
I'm just not, but it's easiest too with the bureaucracy to meet what they want, especially if it's pretty easy. Get it back to them and be done with it, so as long as, yeah.
Okay, I thank you very, very much.
I just want to invite, I don't know how many people are out in the hall, we've got one.
Couple
we've got
seats in
two
here.
chairs
6 out here.
Well, you want to grab some more chairs, come on in.
Okay.
We've got 2 chairs here, 2 people should come in and take the
You guys
chairs that
wanna
are
come in?
available.
There's 2 chairs in there. There's 2 people coming.
This is the public meeting, everyone should be able to come in the room.
All right, well, there were 7, I'm sorry, one was in the bathroom. Go,
Come on in, come
go
on
in,
in.
there's a chair
Come on
up there,
in,
Bob
fine.
usually sits.
Here's another one. And you can grab some chairs from out in the hallway. Hi, come on in.
Did we take any motion or action then on the 2 members?
No, we did not.
Okay.
You're very well. Anyone else? Well, there's some chairs out there, you wanna come on in? Okay. Others are not impeding participation.
Can I have a motion then to appoint Jim Roth and Ellen Jane Kenny to the ASA?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Oh, I have a question or a comment. So what happens next then? You'll start meeting?
That should be it. As far as I
You
know.
start meeting like part 4 and the other one?
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Under new business, we have listed Saks Land Development, the trail easement. Just an update on that the planning commission did give approval for phase 1. The board, I guess that will be in front of the board next week for their approval. We didn't know if we wanted to have a discussion on the trail easement or wait until next week when the plan comes before the board for their vote.
We have it on the agenda. Does
Right.
that mean there's something else?
You should have in front of you, I received some letter from Mr. Smith regarding the trail. Carol, can I get your input? Would it be easier to discuss it next week when the plan comes in front?
I think that makes sense. Not only would we have the plan in front of us, but also the applicant would be there to give his perspective on the issue as well.
Okay.
Can I add something to my letter? Make a comment? Is that possible? Phil Smith, planning commission member who sent the letter that's being referenced here. I just wanted to add that it's a way to sort of clarify some of the issues that were brought up at the planning commission meeting, and to make a suggestion that I thought would be a suggestion that would be perhaps better served in the discussion by the Board of Supervisors at the time that this is brought in full discussion at the next township meeting.
Dan Worth, Kratz Road, just a question. Previous planning meetings, they had indicated, Saks Land Development had indicated they weren't gonna go ahead and identify the trail. Did they change their mind and indicate, they said they weren't gonna provide the easement at that point until phase 2, at one of the more recent planning meetings. Have they decided to identify
Are you
the,
referencing the March 15th planning commission meeting?
I'm not sure, yeah, I missed the most recent one.
Okay, well then
So
you
I'm
missed that
asking at the
component.
most recent
No,
one, did
the
they?
applicant,
Yeah.
in discussion with the planning commission, felt that they were, there was a willingness on their part to open that conversation with our board of supervisors
Okay,
at the next meeting, and then, of course, it won't work apparently for this meeting, so it's being bumped to the next board of
Okay.
supervisors meeting, and at that time, I believe the applicant as well as the board of supervisors will address that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin.
That's correct.
It is noted on our township minutes from the
Okay.
March 15th meeting. Of course, they're not approved, so they're not up on the
yeah,
website.
yes, I was, okay, so it sounds like they've decided they're willing to at least entertain a notion at this point.
To
to put
further
in the-
those conversations, that's correct,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, because you
And-
can't see the meeting minutes unless you, yeah.
That's correct, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's,
And
thank you for.
That discussion, of course, is based on the conversations that took place at the planning commission as a recommendation to our board of supervisors.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Okay. Anybody else have any new business, other new business? Okay. Move on to public comment.
Well, I'm Barbara Colletti and I live at 125 Spring Mount Road. It's the Little Yell Rancher next door. How many people are here because of the noise? Okay, you and over here. There's probably 20 other people, maybe 25, that have a concern with that noise. The way this meeting was announced, I happen to be on Facebook. And whenever the township puts something up, I automatically repeat it, whether it's a fundraiser or whatever. But I don't think there was enough advance notice, to these people who are dealing with this noise to have a meeting like this and say that there's no more objections or there's no, more complaints. That's not true.